Jalin Hyatt made it official. He will forego his senior football season and this year's Orange Bowl to declare for the NFL Draft. Tennessee picks up a 4-star linebacker. That class of 2023 is looking pretty good. All that and more here on your Thursday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into it. It's your Thursday edition of Locked On Vols, a part of Locked On Podcast Network that is your team every single day. I'm your host, Eric Kane. You can always find me on Twitter at _Kaner and at Locked On Vols. Remember, hey, we're on that push here. 6K by Christmas Day, 6,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel before Christmas Day. That is the goal. We're getting close, still a couple hundred away, so we need to really put pedal to the metal here in the last week or two. So I appreciate you guys for that, and of course listening to the show wherever you find your podcast. All right, so segment 1, Jalin Hyatt. Segment 2, Arian Carter. Segment 3, we'll take a look at the offensive line position for the Tennessee Vols in 2023. And it was never a matter of if, it was always a matter of when. I've kind of been trying to express that the last couple of days, especially this week, a little bit last week. I mean, Jalin Hyatt, right? I mean, he would be foolish not to go and go ahead and do his part to try to go into the NFL, right? I mean, we talked about the latest projections for Tennessee players last week in terms of Mel Kiper Jr. with his rankings. Jalin Hyatt was the 6th highest wide receiver among the draft eligible wide receivers for the class of 2023. And I mean, some projections have him as a late first rounder. I think he'll be a second rounder regardless. That is too good a draft position to take the chance of coming back. And you know, how much more do you got to gain? Sure, I know there's millions and millions upon dollars that you could come back and try to improve your draft stock, but what if you get hurt? You know, what if something happens and it derails your projections and your productions and all that type of stuff? And what if it didn't even matter and you were drafted in the same spot anyway? You lost a year off your playing career. So you just never know. Nothing's guaranteed in football, so you always got to jump when you have that opportunity. And that's what Jalin Hyatt's going to do, and as he should. It was the smart business decision. However, what comes with that is the new trend and the new fad of college football. Jalin Hyatt will not play in the Orange Bowl. I know a lot of people don't like that, and a lot of people can't come to terms with that's how college football is nowadays. And I mean, hey, it took me a little while as well, and so I'm nothing against you if you're one of those people. But that is college football. It is what it is. And if you think regular bowls don't matter now, if you think the regular bowls don't matter now with a 4-team college football playoff, when that son of a gun gets up to 12 teams in 2024, the bowls that are not a part of the playoffs, I mean, you're going to see more and more people opting out, even with teams in the college football playoffs, trying to play for a national championship. That's just where we are right now. The receiver from Ohio State, don't blame him whatsoever. That dude's going to be a top 10 pick. He's not healthy. Okay, he's not been healthy all year long. He's not played pretty much all year long for Ohio State. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. It's just kind of where we are, though. Excuse me. That's just kind of where we are in college football. It is what it is. But Jalin Hyatt did come out, and this was his letter he addressed to the fan base. Where do I even begin is how he starts it. If you're watching on YouTube, I got to put on my glasses because I literally can't see a thing. Where do I even begin? This is Jalin Hyatt. The past 3 years have been filled with so many ups and downs and have helped me become the man I am today. Together with my brothers and coaches, we built this program back to where it deserves to be, among the best in the country, through hard work and perseverance. It has been such a rewarding experience to be a Tennessee Volunteer, and there are so many who guided me along the way. Thank you to our coaching and support staffs, especially Coach Heibel, Coach Golish, Coach Burns, Coach Boat, for believing in me the past 2 years. You gave me the confidence and the strength to help me take my games to the next level. Thank you to my teammates, the bonds we built after everything we went through, and have made this experience enjoyable. You pushed me to be my best, and I love you guys. Thank you to Vol Nation. Your loyalty and passion, even during the hardships, never wavered. There was nothing like a Saturday in Neyland, and that's because of you. I'm so grateful for the interactions that we've had. To my mom, thank you for being the guiding light and the guardian angel. You taught me the importance to stay humble and appreciative and understanding of what God always has in store for me. I always look forward to your daily prayer text each morning. Thank you for always giving me a hard time with my grades or taking my phone when I was a distraction. As my track coach, you pushed me to use the gift of speed. To my dad, this was always the plan, right? I'm so thankful for all the early morning and late night workouts. You taught me the importance of doing the 1% extra. You once asked me for forgiveness for times that you never let up on me or only pointed out the times that I didn't play well. No forgiveness is needed. I understand it now. You wanted me to understand that I should have always strived for excellence. Those moments helped me shape me into who I am today. I can't wait until our next game of catch. That's awesome. If you remember, first of all, this is such a long letter. I didn't anticipate it being this long. It's really making me feel like I need some lessons in terms of speed reading. If you remember the tweet that Jalin Hyatt sent out a couple days ago after Jalin won the Biletnikoff, talking about playing catch with them all throughout their childhood or all throughout his childhood, and said, I can't wait to play another game of catch. And wow, right here, I can't wait until our next game of catch from Jalin Hyatt. 2 more paragraphs. After careful consideration with my family, I've decided to begin preparation for the 2023 NFL Draft. Though I will not be playing in the Orange Bowl, I'll be in Miami to support my teammates like I always have. I have tried to do the best of my ability to honor those who have come before me and to pay it forward to those who will come after. The volunteer spirit will remain with me forever as I pursue a lifelong dream of playing in the NFL. Thank you, and go Vols. Again, lengthy little letter there. I forgot it was that long. I probably shouldn't have read the whole thing, but some heartfelt words there from Jalin Hyatt, right? Heartfelt words from Jalin Hyatt, who is going to declare for the NFL Draft, and he's not going to play in the Orange Bowl, and that just kind of is what it is. I mean, what a career, what a season really for Jalin Hyatt. Came on as a freshman, had a couple touchdowns. You saw the potential there. Super duper letdown season for Hyatt as a sophomore. Bounces back, responded the right way, and did everything you wanted to, winning the Biletnikoff Award, 1,267 yards, 15 touchdowns this past season on 67 receptions. It was an absolute no contest that he was going to be a Biletnikoff Award winner. He's already been named to like 3 different All-American teams. He will be a consensus All-American when it's all said and done. There's no doubt about it. He had 5 100-yard receiving games, scored multiple touchdowns on 5 separate occasions this year. He scored a touchdown on Tennessee's first offensive possession of the season against Ball State. I mean, it can just go on and on and on. The 5-touchdown game against Alabama, had 2 touchdowns against LSU. He had 2 touchdowns against Kentucky. I mean, he certainly left a legacy here at Tennessee and at the wide receiver position. So congrats to Jalin Hyatt. No doubt about it. Phenomenal season. Well deserving. And he'll be, in my opinion, probably a second-round draft pick come April or May, whenever that draft is. And so exciting to see him go throughout this draft process. He'll go to the combine. He'll run a 4.3 40, and that's what everybody will be talking about all week long. And everybody here that's a Tennessee fan or covers the team is going to say, well, yeah, we've seen that. We've seen that. We know what that's all about. So Jalin Hyatt will not be here next year. He is not going to play in the Orange Bowl. He's going to go to the NFL Draft. Cedric Tillman is not going to be playing in the Orange Bowl. Darnell Wright earlier this week said that he will play in the Senior Bowl, which means that he's going to go on to the NFL Draft. But he did not indicate whether he'd play in the Orange Bowl or not. I've been told that he's going to play in the Orange Bowl. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Congrats to Jalin Hyatt. Awesome stuff. But Tennessee also got some good news on Wednesday as well. And we're going to tell you all about the commitment of Arian Carter here in just 1 second. But first, a message from the NHTSA. You're hanging out with some friends. You're putting back a few drinks. A few becomes too many. As the evening comes to an end and the people start to head out, if you're watching on YouTube right now, I mean, let's do an instant replay here. How old do I look? I'm reading. I'm reaching for my glasses. I'm putting the glasses on and I'm carrying on. I mean, God, I've become my grandfather overnight. Goodness gracious. As the evening, I'm not even that old too. I'm not even 30 yet. As the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, you think of calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. You can make it home, right? It's no big deal. What are the odds you're going to get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst can happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, your job, you total your car, you unfortunately may kill somebody. Everyone knows about the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our very roads. It's to save lives. So if you're thinking it's okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe, plan ahead, and get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's life forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. All right, guys, welcome back into your Thursday edition of Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys. We're going to have John Garcia on to talk a little bit more recruiting on tomorrow's episode A quick little public service announcement. No show on Monday. There will be no Locked On Vols on Monday's show. Got a big weekend coming up, so we will not be in position to record an episode for Monday, but Tuesday we'll be back right here on Locked On Vols. So you wake up Monday, there's nothing there. It's by design. We'll be back on Tuesday. Tennessee got Aaron Carter to commit, 4-star linebacker from Smyrna, Tennessee. 6'1", 210 pounds. And again, this has been very anticlimactic. It's been very anticlimactic this football season in terms of recruiting. Why? Because Tennessee came in with 21 guys that were already hard commits before Tennessee took a snap this fall. There were some other ones. Tennessee went out and got the running back Khalifa Keith. Tennessee went out, got David Hobbs. David Hobbs, a top 20 prospect in all the land. Tennessee went out and got, again, a junior college offensive tackle in Larry Johnson. And then Tennessee is concluding this class, most likely, with Aaron Carter. And if you're not for certain, if you don't remember the story of Aaron Carter, he's a guy that plays running back at Smyrna High School in the Mid-State here in Tennessee. Pretty good back. Obviously he's got a next level type body in terms of being a football player. And he was a Memphis running back commit. He signed on, or not, he committed on to go and play running back in Memphis. He had never played linebacker at the high school level until this year. Started playing linebacker, and then after the first month of the season, 1 Power 5 offer came in, 2 Power 5 offer came in, and then what do you know? He had 20 Power 5 offers in 1 week. What a span, what a whirlwind that week must have been, including Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, all the who's who in college football. Hey, this guy can play defense too. Wow. And it came down between Tennessee and Alabama. I remember I spoke with Aaron Carter. You guys know me. I cover recruiting for VolQuest.com. I spoke with Aaron Carter back when Tennessee got involved, and he was pumped. He was jacked up. And then I asked him about that Alabama offer, and he's like, man, that's one I've been waiting on. Grew up an Alabama fan. I know it's kind of weird to say if you live in Tennessee, but grew up an Alabama fan. My family's Alabama fans. The national championships, when Nick Saban, all that type of stuff. There was some lure there. There was some attraction. I remember that's the first time I talked to him a couple months ago. And from that point on, I said, hey, if he can go to Alabama, he'll be at Alabama. I remember I told my cohorts, my colleagues over at VolQuest.com, I said, hey, if he's given the opportunity to go to Alabama, he's going to go to Alabama. I can tell. Well, it came down to Tennessee and Alabama, and we 100% had the opportunity to pick the Crimson Tide over the Vols. But instead, it's the relationship that he built with Josh Heupel. So many times you allow coordinators or position coaches or support staffers to take over some of the recruitments. But when there's someone you want, the head ball coach jumps in there and takes it over. Josh Heupel jumped in and took this one over. Built a great relationship with Aaron Carter and really brought it home, solidified things earlier this week when he was on the road, went to Smyrna High School, went to Aaron Carter's home, and that pretty much sealed it. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. That's pretty much what Aaron Carter said to Josh Heupel earlier this week. What a massive win for Tennessee. Again, I'll get into breaking down Aaron Carter and how he fits in and all that, but what a massive win for Tennessee. Think about it. Tennessee put in the work over the last year and got all the commitments in here before the season started pretty much. But since the season started, and it's signing day's less than a week away, it's coming up, so you're not completely out of the woods yet, but mind you, on Friday, Tennessee starts bowl practice, and 14 of the 16 early enrollees will be here for bowl practice, which means that is your national letter of intent right there. So, you're pretty much to the finish line here. But Tennessee has held off guys like Sylvester Smith with Auburn's coming calling. Tennessee has held off and fought off some other teams calling Ricky Gibson and some of these other guys. Tennessee went out and got its running back in Khalifa Keith. Tennessee went out and added another offensive tackle, offensive lineman, knowing that was a position of need. Tennessee went out and got the number 20 prospect in all the land in David Hobbs. Won out over Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State in that one. And then Tennessee steals Aaron Carter out from under Alabama. What a massive win for Tennessee. How about this close for Josh Heupel in recruiting? I'll say this right now. People want to say, oh, Tennessee's still number 11th in the country. Actually, I'm not sure where they are after the Aaron Carter commit. I'll have to go look that up. Oh, Tennessee's still, outside of the top 10. Tennessee's still 5th in the SEC. Heupel still can't recruit on a consistent basis. Florida's out recruiting Tennessee. Sure, rankings are rankings, and everybody's up for, debate and all that. Tennessee is still 11th in terms of the national rankings right now, 5th in the SEC, unless it hasn't generated yet. That's per the On3 metric. But I love the way Josh Heupel's been recruiting the last 2 cycles. I do. Again, attacking The edge, getting after the quarterback, recruiting a quarterback, recruiting playmakers, early evals that turn into like Nathan Laycock. Tennessee was on him. No, I mean, sure, like Virginia, Texas, some of the other schools were in them, but I mean, Nathan Laycock exploded this season. Everybody came calling. He's like, I'm a volunteer. But nonetheless, I mean, Tennessee, Josh Heupel's recruited well, in my opinion. He really has. And we'll continue tomorrow with John Garcia. We'll break down this class. We'll talk more about it again. But huge win for Tennessee because you beat out Alabama, but also you kept an in-state prospect in-state. That's what's supposed to happen. How bad would it have been if a guy from Smyrna, Tennessee went on and started Alabama and got drafted in 3 years? Be a bad look. I mean, it's happened many times in Tennessee over the years, but, with Clemson or Georgia or wherever. That did not happen here with Aaron Carter. 6'1", 215 pounds, Smyrna, Tennessee. He is a really, really good linebacker. Let's see here. Where's my write-up? I'll read you the scouting report. This is from Charles Power, Director of Scouting and Rankings for On3. I think what's exciting about Aaron Carter, first off, the combination of play speed and physicality, the speed and striking power, the ability to play fast and physical as a linebacker immediately pops off his senior video. Early in the season when this film was released, you saw it get blown up with all these Power 5 offers when he was still committed to Memphis. Didn't take very long to acknowledge that he is a 4-star prospect. The onslaught of recruiting attention he is getting was more than merited. I think when you went and look at his profile, we love that he is a prolific running back. That's something you can see in common with a lot of top linebackers, especially ones that you see being drafted into the NFL. The two-way playmaking abilities, often running backs at the high school level are oftentimes the best athletes at their school. I think it's a way to showcase your athleticism, playmaking ability, and honestly physicality at running back as well. We love Aaron Carter. Is such an all-around high school player, whether it's with the ball in his hands or on defense. It's a big pickup for Tennessee. This is Charles Power continuing. A big pickup for Tennessee. Coveted linebacker that Alabama and several others wanted, keeping him in state. A guy who was one of the hottest prospects in the entire country over the course of the last couple of months in the 23 cycle. To keep him in state is a really big recruiting win down the stretch. There's a lot to like about him and his addition to Tennessee's linebacker room, putting him behind a very strong defensive front and group of pass rushers that Tennessee's recruited the last couple of cycles. I think it's a great fit. Big recruiting win, and I like Aaron Carter an awful lot. Again, that's Charles Power, the Director of Recruiting and Scouting Rankings over at On3. He's versatile, can play outside the box, play inside the box. His mentality is that of a linebacker. He, for someone that didn't play the position a whole lot, he attacks downhill. He goes over the top of the blocks. He keeps leverage. He's good against the run, good against the pass. You can tell he played defensive back in the pass as well, because when he's outside covering number 2 or number 1 receiver, he buzzes his feet, which is just a trademark of a defensive back right there. So really, really, really good pickup for Tennessee. We'll talk more with John Garcia about this tomorrow. But man, I love this Tennessee defensive class. I do. I truly love it. I love these linebackers. Underrated. Aaron Carter, Jeremiah T. Lander, and Jalen Smith. A really, really good group for the University of Tennessee. All right, when we come back, let's take a look at the offensive line. We know about the success of that room this year, but what about that group next year? That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. But first, BetOnline. It's your number one source for your sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college bowl season to basketball to World Cup, we've got it all at betonline.net. If you like sports podcasts like the one you're listening to right now, shout out Locked On Vols. You can find those at BetOnline as well, but make sure you listen to this one first, okay? Always the fastest and easiest way to get in on all your sports information, your betting info as well. Head on over to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn about all the latest trends and all the action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. All right, boys and girls, you got a final segment left here of this Thursday edition, Locked On Vols. I'm Eric Kane. We're going to get into our little offensive line, State of the Union, tell you who's gone, who's coming back, what positions where, all that type of stuff. Started this mini-series earlier in the week and then got busy. We're going to continue to do this at least once every segment here for the next week or two. Let's go back to the segment number 1's conversation real quick with Jalin Hyatt. Meant to mention this back then, so if you're listening to the whole podcast, it's a little Easter egg treat here in the end, some more Jalin Hyatt conversation. Jalin Hyatt all over Tennessee's record books, obviously. single season. See here, single season receptions. He is tied for 7th with 67. Single game receptions. He is tied for 5th with 11. Single season receiving yards. He is 2nd behind Robert Meacham. He's only about 30 yards behind Robert Meacham, and he would have all but passed that if he would have played in the Orange Bowl. 1,267. Single game receiving record. This is hard to believe. 207 receiving yards against Alabama. That is 6th most in a single game in Tennessee history. Kelly Washington had 256 against LSU in 2001. Demarius Moore in 2010. Wow, I don't remember that one. 228 yards against South Carolina. Johnny Mills back in 1966 had 225 yards against Kentucky. Cordell Patterson, I remember that one. 219 against Troy in 2012. And then Willie Gaultz had 217 against Vanderbilt in 81. Cedric Tillman made this list. He's 9th on it, 200 yards against Georgia last year. But that's where Jalin Hyatt stacks up in some of the single season. I got a couple more. Receiving touchdowns, career, Jalin Hyatt's at 19. That's tied for 4th. Single season, of course, that's the program leader with 15. Single game, program leader with 5. I mean, you've got tons and tons of guys who are tied with 3. Tied for number 2 with 3. But Cedric Tillman, Jalin Hyatt's all by himself up there, number 1 with 5 in a game. So he is littered all across Tennessee's record book in terms of receivers. Congratulations to Jalin Hyatt foregoing his senior season and the Orange Bowl to go ahead and get ready for the NFL Draft. All right, what's this offensive line look like for Glenn Ellerbe? Doing kind of a State of the Union type situation. Who's coming back? Who's gone? Who's the underclassmen? Who to look for in spring practice? All that type of stuff. Well, look who's back. Well, we'll start with who's gone. That's the bigger story here. Donnell Wright, really, really good offensive lineman for Tennessee. Pretty much a 4-year starter. He announced earlier this week again that he is going to play in the Reese's Senior Bowl, which means if he plays in that showcase, he gives up his college eligibility. He goes to the NFL. He has not announced if he'll sit out the Orange Bowl, but I've been told that he's going to play in the Orange Bowl. So there's that. But, I mean, Scott's been a 4-year starter. He's made 41 starts, 33 straight starts for Tennessee throughout his career. He hasn't allowed a sack in his last 18 games. So that's a big loss. Jerome Carvin also will be in the East-West Shrine Bowl game. But he started 42 games across his college career. He did not allow a sack in 2021. In fact, Carvin allowed just 2 sacks since the beginning of 2019. That's interesting. So you got 2 veteran offensive linemen that were critical in the turnaround of Tennessee's offensive success, no doubt about it. Those are 2 big losses for Tennessee on the offensive line. But who you got coming back? Well, Cooper Mays. Big reason why Tennessee turned the tide at least a little bit this year and found a little bit more consistency offensively, even though it was a 180 from 2020 last year. Don't get me wrong. Tennessee shattered 8 school records. I'm not trying to say Tennessee was bad offensively in 2021, but took that next step this year, and I think a lot of that has to do with Cooper Mays being healthy and not missing any time. He sets the pace and the tempo of this offense along with Hendon Hooker at quarterback. Cooper Mays will be back for his senior season, which is really, really good. Tennessee's set to bring back a tackle and a guard as well, Javonte Spraggins, who has started at right guard each of the past 2 seasons, as well as Jeremiah Crawford and or Gerald Mincey at your left tackle. Those 2 guys split time in 2022. First was Spraggins. See, he picked up SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week honors and following Tennessee's win over Florida. Jeremiah Crawford and Gerald Mincey pretty much split time at left tackle. In fact, it was almost a true 50-50 split. Let's see here. You had Crawford. He played 407 snaps. Mincey played 405 snaps on the season. So, I mean, it can't get any more even than that. I mean, seriously, like for real. I mean, I guess they both could have played 406, but, I mean, goodness gracious. That's truly a near 50-50 split. So, you have those 2 guys who are returning. Parker Ball is a veteran that'll be like a redshirt senior. He can snap if needed to back up Cooper Mays. Tennessee will have to find a backup a backup center for sure. If something were to happen to Cooper Mays, then it would have been Jerome Carvin who would have played in this football game, just like he did back in 2021. But obviously, Jerome Carvin's not going to be here next year. So Tennessee's got to find a true backup center next year. You're also returning 3 veteran backup offensive linemen that you feel good about. Dane Davis returns. He can play both tackle spots, both guard spots. Ollie Lane can play both guard spots. Can play center as well. Jackson Lampley can play both guard spots. All three of those guys have been relied on each of the past 3 years at critical points in times to come in and spell and or to come in and play, the rest of a football game. Dane Davis has played a lot. Ollie Lane played a ton in 2021. Jackson Lampley's shown up, every now and again, plenty of times. So it's good to have those three guys back as well. Tennessee's hoping to see a lot from Addison Nichols over the spring. Really big, high get. Came in here over Ohio State, Georgia, North Carolina, picked Tennessee. And Tennessee's hoping that he can step up and maybe take a guard spot, maybe be a backup center. So Addison Nichols will be a big spring for him. Coaching staff love. I'll say this too. I had a conversation with a member of the coaching staff earlier in the season. This was off the record, and they told me that. When I say off the record, this was not in a press conference or anything. It was not behind a microphone. But they told me that, hey, we love Messiah Reddick. We do. He's got some development. He's got to change his body a little bit. But they think Messiah Reddick has a big future as an offensive lineman in the system. I found that really interesting. So, that's a good sign. Tennessee also has Mo Clipper. Mo Clipper's a guard. And then, Brian Grant, R.J. Perry, and William Parker still on scholarship as offensive linemen. So that's who's coming back. We told you who's leaving. Of course, Jerome Carvin and Darnell Wright. Who would be coming in for Tennessee in the class of 2023? Well, Tennessee does, its most recent commit is a junior college offensive tackle in Larry Johnson, 6'7", 365 pounds. I have not seen him in person, but if that is true, your boy's not going to play tackle. He's going to play guard. I can tell you that right now. 365 pounds, 6'7", Larry Johnson from Hutchinson County Junior College, Community College. And, Tennessee was able to add an offensive lineman, which was good. Shamrod Umarov, Sham, is the offensive tackle from the prep category of this class. 4-star out of Alpharetta. According to the On3 Power Rankings, he is 6'6", 235 pounds. He's number 269 in the country. Tennessee also brought in guards Vyson Lang and Aiden Bussell. Aiden Bussell is an in-state prospect, one of the first to jump in this class, and so he's really kind of helped build and shape the class. That was a big priority for Tennessee back in last winter. Aiden Bussell remains to be there. Vyson Lang's been in here the last couple of months. So, Tennessee took a big swing and missed on a whole lot of offensive tackles, but Sham was one of their 4 that they wanted. They did get him. I think Tennessee still needs to go out and find an offensive tackle via the transfer portal. Got enough interior guys. You need more tackles. So that's something to see for Tennessee as the offseason continues. Offensive line, big plus. Again, Tennessee, only team in the country to average over 300 yards passing, over 200 yards rushing each and every game. It all starts up front. Tennessee's offensive line paved the way for the nation's #1 rushing touchdown offense. It's kind of weird how I phrase that. Meaning Tennessee led the nation with 39 rushing touchdowns. Of course, you have to have an offensive line to block for that. And, of course, Blendikoff Award winner and a Heisman, should have been a damn Heisman finalist, and Hayden Hooker, who was not. But Tennessee's #1 ranked offense in the country in scoring and total yards. Offensive line did a great job for Tennessee this year, and it's set to return at least 3 starters, 3.5 if you count that other offensive tackle in the cycle there. All right, or the rotation there. Good stuff today. Jalin Hyatt off to the NFL. No Orange Bowl for him. No senior season for him. You had Aaron Carter, who committed to Tennessee, and we're going to talk a whole lot more recruiting coming up tomorrow with John Garcia. And we just now went over the Tennessee offensive line. Who's left in the cupboard? Who's coming in? What's that going to look like come spring? Been a fun show, and I can't thank you enough for tuning in and hanging out with me here today. I love you guys. We will be back tomorrow. Again, no show on Monday, but we will have fun with it tomorrow with John Garcia. Thanks so much for making Locked On Vols your first listen. Check out Locked On Sports today. Make that your second listen right behind Locked On Vols each and every day. Same time, same place. Let's do it again tomorrow. This is Locked On Vols.